Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Olson, and for my rhetorical criticism project presentation, mine is on the National Football League, the NFL. Here is a brief outline of my project. I will talk about my artifact, my thesis, which ties with the rhetoric significance of the artifact. Then I will talk about the specific theory I chose, what ethos, pathos, and logos is, and how it plays a part in the NFL with their fan engagement and their social media avenues. And lastly, I will conclude my project with a conclusion and overview of my project and artifact. So, my artifact is on the upcoming news of the two male cheerleaders in the NFL, and specifically on the Los Angeles Rams cheer team. So many might find it hard to believe that the sport of cheerleading began in the mid-1800s and was an all-male sport. The sport primarily was featured around university and athletic programs and consisted of mostly gymnastics routines, physical stunts, and crowd-pleasing leadership. I incorporated a quote here that states, "The reputation of having a valiant cheerleader is one of the most valuable things a boy can take away from college. As a title to promotion in professional and public life, it ranks hardly second to that of having been a quarterback." It wasn't until the 1930s, when men were being shipped off to fight World War II, did women enter the world of cheering, and upon their return back, an effort emerged to ban female cheerleaders from participating in the sport. So just to re-clarify that, it was an all-male sport, and then once the men were shipped off to war, it did incorporate females and taking place of the males in cheer. And by the 1950s, the typical cheerleader was no longer viewed as a strong, athletic, stereotypical male figure, but an attractive woman, physically fit, curvy-shaped, that possessed a cheerful disposition. Men were no longer accepted by most of the cheerleaders, and those that did continue the sport were frequently viewed more feminine men and possibly gay. So now, like I said, that cheerleaders are more focused as women and are the ones that are jumping up and down on football fields. And mostly when we picture a cheerleader, we kind of picture the famous cheer team, the Dallas Cowboys cheer team. So this is another slide that I continued with more history. So the significance of the rhetoric situation is that cheerleading was not always a women's sport. It started as a men's sport. We have kind of turned our head and not accepted what was in history due to what we are comfortable with now. And there are no specific rules that state that cheerleaders have to be women or men, and that we all deserve the same opportunities. In the impact the NFL has, it will have a huge fan base and will create a positive trend for other companies and professional sports to become more diverse, and especially to its fans, they will be more accepting and will accept the change. So for my thesis, I have my thesis statement, which is basically the why of my artifact. So one might ask, with the growing number of organizations, universities, and most recently the recognition to cheerleading will be reorganized as a sport. In the Olympics, there are even mounting outcry by the public of the Rams National Football League selection of two male cheerleaders. Has past history been overlooked, or those complaining imposing their selective views that all cheerleaders should be largely endowed, females wearing tight-fitting skin-tight outfits? With the public outcry, governmental push, and the ever-changing marketing world, the need to gender-neutral, non-discriminatory opportunities are at the forefront of consumer, spectator, and participants' minds. So there has been a breakthrough with women participating in the sport, and vice versa. You typically see more males in cheer within all-stars or college or high school and stuff like that, not in the NFL. And we all deserve the same and equal opportunities as others. And like I said, with how big the NFL is, this will definitely start a trend and will kind of start changing the minds of fans and sponsors and everyone that is incorporated in the NFL. And on this slide, I incorporated the theory I'm using, and I'm using the theory from Jacques Derrida and his theory of deconstruction. And so here he is. Looks very familiar. So we all know that Jacques was a very well-known French theorist who invented the theory of deconstruction that ties with binaries. The deconstruction theory is a reading which aims to undermine the logic of opposition within texts. And the binary is something that has two parts, and so I decided to use this theory just because, especially with the binaries and the deconstruction theory, how it can obviously be looked at different ways in this specific situation, that cheerleading the sport isn't just females and it's just not males. It is a co-ed sport now, and that it's a little bit harder for people to understand that and to accept that. And that it's applied to the NFL because it's not ordinary and that there are two male cheerleaders. And the theory is used in the rhetorical situation because of the double meaning of a cheerleader. Now I will explain the ethos, pathos, and logos, and who is talking to whom and what we are doing in the artifact. So the ethos is to convince an audience appeal to the author's credibility. Pathos, emotional appeal to persuade an audience by their emotions. Logos, to convince an audience by use of logic or reasoning. The who is the NFL and specifically the Los Angeles Rams team. Whom is the target audience, so the fans, officials, sponsors of the NFL, and people like that, proving that there can be male cheerleaders in the professional sports industry and that they've accepted that and they're welcoming. And the what is the rhetoric communication being presented is that the men have an equal opportunity as the women are. In this case, the binary is that men can do women's sports and vice versa. And so in this case, there are other male cheerleaders in the NFL, but they are more considered as stunters or tumblers and not more the cheerleading side. So these two males will actually be doing everything that like the Dallas Cowboys do by signings, interviews, and performances. So the rhetorical analysis, the ethos is convincing their fans by posting the NFL is posting all over their social media, on the news, etc., and how they don't see a problem with accepting the two males. The pathos is especially on the news, how the news anchors are excited and open about the males that they are accepted and into the professional sports organization. And the logos is the NFL states that these two men are not the first male cheerleaders in the NFL, like I stated earlier, and there are male stunters and tumblers in the NFL, but these men are the performance cheerleaders. So this is another continued slide. So with this, it's I kind of use the shape and guide way of audiences thinking from Hauser in his book on page 255 and 256. And the theoretical form of strategy is used by the structure of idea and placement. So the NFL has placed this idea and the different patterns we've seen, just with different sports accepting men and female, like the Powder-Puff Football League for women and stuff like that. So we kind of see the pattern growing, and they kind of place the idea of this in our heads, saying that this is the new and upcoming trend and that we should be okay with it, even if there's other sports that are co-ed as well. And the NFL is watched by millions of people, and ideas can be easily planted into the heads of viewers and fans. These are the media avenues I incorporated from different clips, YouTube, news headlines, etc., of the male cheerleaders that have made NFL history now. And so obviously this is a very cool historical moment for them and for the Los Angeles Rams. So for my conclusion, I've stated that mixed-sex sporting activities may be able to stage a counter to such a socially regressive gender pedagogy by providing transformative experiences. And like I said, there are multiple sports where both men and women are participating and improves equal opportunities. For example, we have gymnastics, figure skating that's in the Olympics, and other sports like dance. And so since the NFL does incorporate a big impact on fans and sponsors and who's following them, they do hold a specific power, and the patterns that they're placing an idea of a placement into the fans' heads about accepting this and that they're okay with it and that this is going to be something new and it's a big moment in history for them. And so in conclusion, that is my artifacts about the NFL, and that the incorporating deconstruction theory and binaries in the NFL and cheer community obviously play a big part. So I hope you guys enjoy my slideshow and you have a great day.